Hey guys, welcome back to another video. What we're going to be doing today is, as you can see, a tier list of the set 10 pre-release leaders. I already have it pretty much laid out here, so if you want, this is what I recommend off the top. These are if you have good drafts. Mid, not good. But if you have any of these leaders, it's going to be much better than if you do not have any of these leaders. With that being said, I'll go ahead and start breaking it down a little bit just so people that want an understanding, thanks for sticking around. These are winner packs from all previous sealed events that I've won. So, I want you to know, I ain't playing. Alright. We'll go chronologically as far as what we have here. For starters, we've got the very first starter deck, Luffy. He gives one free Dawn for every single turn that you're playing a character. You know, not bad. 6,000 attack, swing every single turn, something like that. It's going to be all right, but there's much better cards in this format, C tier. We have Kid in A tier. He is going to be able to swing twice per turn in the late game. What you have to do is pay 3 Dawn and discard a card. What that translates to is once you're at 10 Dawn, you're going to be able to swing 12,000, restand, pitch a card, 12,000 again. It's a really good way to close out games. We've got Zoro. He's going to be at B tier here. The reason that is because you're going to be able to swing 6,000 every single turn, and for all other characters on the board, they're going to get 1,000 buff. So 4,000 becomes 5,000. That's a live swing. 5 to 6, your opponent has to discard a 2k or take a life. Newgate, C tier. He is an inherent 6,000. You do have 6 life starting in the game, but by the time you're at 10 Dawn, he's pretty much going to have 0 life, and it's going to be very hard to stay alive. The trade-off for the 6,000 becomes negligible if your opponent can hit the late game, so he's all right, but not great. Next, we have Katakuri in the B tier. For Katakuri, you're going to be able to slap a Dawn and then look at either life, your opponent's life, either or, and buff his attack. So you're swinging 7,000, you're going to be able to look at life and do a little bit of reorganization based on if they have a trigger or not, or if you have triggers or not, or if you want to, draw the card that you're going to draw next. We've got Luffy. He's the only character that's going to be able to consistently ramp. So if you're going first, you're going to be able to play your 4 Dawn, characters on your second turn. If you're going second, you can do 5 Dawn, etc. It is at the cost of drawing a life, so you are drawing a card and losing a life every single time you're doing this. You're only going to want to do it once or twice if you want to win the game. But not bad, not great. C tier. We have Yamato next. She's going to be solid A tier above the Kid. For free, she's going to have double attack. So you're swinging 8,000 or 9,000 or whatever going on your second turn. Your opponent's going to draw 2 life. You're going to be able to do that every single turn. And on top of that, she has the crazy ability to give 2 rested Dawn cards to a character. So you're making any 3,000 of 5,000 at the live swing. You're making a 5,000 of 7,000, which means your opponent has to discard at least 2 cards in order to survive that. And that's all online once your opponent takes the first hit. So that is why you're swinging 8,000 or 9,000 for your double attack, because the second part becomes online. You're basically buffing the crap out of your characters. We have Jewelry Bonney up here. She's S tier because once per turn, you're going to be able to negate any opponent's attack, be it the leader or the character, if they're trying to swing twice. So for 1 Dawn, they have a character on the board that can attack, or your leader, or their leader. They're only going to be able to do one or the other because you're resting the other guy. That's a free defensive strat for just 1 Dawn. You know, you're stopping an entire attack for 1 Dawn. That's really good. We have Dragon up next. He's going to be in the B tier. He's basically a step above Luffy. That's why he's in the B tier instead of C. You're going to want to have a lot of low-cost characters in your deck if you're going to be playing Dragon, because you're going to be very consistently slapping 2 Dawn on Dragon once you're on your 2nd turn or your 3rd turn. Meaning that you're only going to be able to play low-cost characters throughout the game until the late game. And even then, your ceiling is only 8 Dawn. So what I mean by that is when you have the 10 Dawn, you're going to have to be giving 2 to Dragon regardless. Any higher cost than 8, which isn't really good in draft anyways, you're not going to be able to play. But that does translate to like you not being able to play 2 5-drop characters or a 5-drop and a 4-drop. Etc. So yeah, it's a little bit of a factor there. He's at the bottom of B tier because he's just simply not as good as Katakuri or Zoro, but he is better than the starter deck Luffy. Next up on the S tier, we have Sanji. He has the simple ability of giving a majority of your deck rush. That means 2 attacks every single turn, sometimes 3 attacks. It's the Eustass Captain Kid on crack. You're putting a body that's going to be able to swing at the same exact turn that it gets played, and your opponent has to get rid of it. Otherwise, it just stays and keeps attacking every single turn. Really, really good. In my opinion, that is probably the leader I will be running myself. We have Nico Robin next. She is a niche pick here because she's not going to be overall amazing, but the factor of giving your opponent banish means that you will be able to starve your opponent out. This is a bit more conditional, but when you attack and you have a trigger in your hand, you can discard that card and you ramp up as well. It's not as consistent as the Luffy here, but you are going to be able to ramp regardless. If you play your cards right, no pun intended. We have Shanks, top of the A tier, for free. It basically says your opponent's 5,000 becomes 4,000. Your opponent's 7,000 attack becomes, oh, you can just drop a 2k counter instead. He is very control heavy, very similar to how Bonney would play, but instead of paying a Dawn, you're just weakening an opponent's attack. It doesn't sound amazing, but when you're playing on the curve and your opponent's trying to play specific, characters on that curve, he's not going to be able to attack sometimes because he's going to have to commit all his Dawn to play characters, and 5,000 becomes 4,000 when his leader swings. Last but not least, we have the 2 pick drops. What pick and drop means is you're going to want to play specifically based on how you draft your characters, or the characters that you get in your deck, your booster packs, will affect whether or not these leaders will be good. So for example, what Eustass Kid does is you're going to be able to attack with the Supernova character, and if it's 3 to 8, we're talking this Basil Hawkins, we're talking this Killer, we're talking the Jewelry Bonney. She's already a blocker though. We're talking this big Cavendish, the 6 for 8. That's probably going to be your chase. You're going to be able to attack with it, and then it becomes a blocker at the end of your turn when you flip up your life. Basically, if you have multiple Cavendish, I would say 2 or 3, I would say consider picking up the Eustass Captain Kid, because it would be pretty good to be able to combo off Cavendish, swing 8,000, restand 8,000 blocker. Very oppressive, very defensive. I like it. For Smoker, he's not going to be as good, but if you're able to lock in a bunch of Punk Hazard characters, they're going to become a defensive powerhouse on your turn, because a lot of these 7,000s will become 8,000. Some of these 4,000s will become 5,000. You're basically going to have a lot more survivability in these characters. But what's more important is going to be the second effect, where if you have characters that are going to be like the Frankie 6 for 8, or like the Caesar Clown here 7 for 7, you're going to be able to get 2 Don back. So you're basically saying make this character cost 2 less. That's going to do it. Once again, I personally recommend getting the Sanji here. Bonney is going to be an excellent pick as well. If you have any of these top 5, I would say you can be confident that you can win if you get the right cards that you play and you play correctly. These other ones still stand a chance, not as good of a chance, but yeah, Sanji without a doubt, man. That's going to be the one I would pick, and I hope you pick it too. Thanks for watching. I'll probably see you in another month from now, because it seems like I'm just uploading these videos like once a month. All right. Bye. Take care.